Hello, my internet fans. It's me, Statboy Mike, and I would like to welcome you to this week's installment of Throwback Thursday. The Casa D18 Studios Channel continues to sort through the archives of the Jeff Meacham Network, the Simple Man brand, JH95 FTW, NoDQ.com, and the Casa Channel in order to bring you classic content that you may not have seen in a long time, if ever. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's Throwback Thursdays offering. I love you all. Statboy out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Welcome everyone to episode 10 of Talk Wrestling here on YouTube. Username NoDQ&AV or on NoDQ.com or on MySpace.com. Thanks everyone again for watching last week. I don't know what keeps the show alive. I don't think I'm that enjoyable, but thank you very much for watching nonetheless. And for everybody that was part of the discussion on YouTube and NoDQ and MySpace, thank you very much. We got a lot of questions, not a whole lot of time. Let's just delve right into it. Drew S. Why does WWE, TNA, etc. always sign old talent to get better ratings? Why don't they build new talent so they can get fresh faces on TV and new rivalries? Oh, what a question. Thank you so much. My God. What a concept, huh? Yeah, I don't know why they do that. They always tend to sign the old guys, like Kurt Angle, who was over in WWE, and then it's like, well, TNA's like, okay, we'll get him and make our ratings boost. We'll get guys like Christian Cage and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn and make them boost our ratings, and Team 3D. Build around the talent you have. My God. TNA had so much talent in their first couple years, and they let it all go to WWE. Build around the talent you have, push them, and you'll do phenomenal. Same with WWE. Don't bring back people like Piper. Don't bring back people like Flair. Honestly, don't bring him back. If he wants to go, let him go. But, have them push the guys you have and keep the guys you have. Don't bring in more divas. This diva search is going to be stupid once again. Bring in guys from OVW. Bring in guys from Florida Championship Wrestling that you're going to build around and build a franchise around. What a concept, huh, people? Just something to think about. This one's from Andrew. How do you feel Brock Lesnar will do in the Ultimate Fighting role? That's a very good question. I think Brock has a chance to be a success. Dana White's pretty much guaranteed it's going to be Brock in the UFC pretty soon, and he has a chance. I really think he does. He's tough. He's big. He's burly. He has an opportunity to be a big success in the Ultimate Fighting world. I think he'll do quite well. Will he be on the level of like Ken Shamrock or Dan Severn or Chuck Liddell or Tito Ortiz? Probably not, but he'll be a moderate success at best. I think so. This one's from I Am Jack Smirking Revenge. Since WWE has decided not to do New Year's Revolution next year, on which pay-per-view do you think the Elimination Chamber will be placed? If it were me, I'd put it at No Way Out. And the reason for that is, it's called No Way Out. What better way to have a No Way Out thing than the only way to get out is to get eliminated? No way out of the Elimination Chamber. No way out of the chamber. You have to be eliminated to be put out. So I think that's a really good idea. Put it in No Way Out if you're going to have it at all again. New Year's Revolution was a good pay-per-view, but I think they're realizing they're having too many pay-per-views per year. I think they're realizing that they're kind of oversaturating the pay-per-view market, and they're going to get rid of a few of them this year. So we'll see what happens. This is from Femme Fatality. Do you believe that with the recent history between WWE and Kurt Angle, they would or would not induct him into the Hall of Fame? I think once his deal with TNA is up and his career is over, they'll induct him in the WWE Hall of Fame. Kurt Angle has a rightful place in the Hall of Fame. Kurt Angle is a great athlete. Kurt Angle is a tremendous WWE superstar at one point. He was a tremendous superstar at one point, I should say. Kurt Angle is one of the all-time greats. Kurt Angle has the potential to be a great in TNA as well. If TNA ever has a Hall of Fame, Kurt Angle will be right at the top of that list. But as far as the WWE Hall of Fame, one day Kurt Angle will be in the Hall of Fame. I don't doubt that whatsoever. This is from Kyle Ryan. I was just watching WrestleMania 21, and I was wondering what you think of the chances are of WWE bringing back the Muhammad Hassan character, or at least bringing back the guy who did the character. I feel bad for the guy because I think it was an awesome wrestler and a great heel. The chances of bringing Muhammad Hassan back are less than zero. UPN demanded he be pulled. He was a very controversial character, too controversial for UPN. I don't think he'll be brought back on Raw or ECW either. I think the guy that portrayed him, Mark, what the hell's his name? Mark something. Doesn't want to do the character anymore. He quit as soon as they pulled him off TV. He quit WWE. I don't know if he's still wrestling, but he quit WWE. So if he's going to be brought back, what are they going to do with him? Everybody realized, oh my God, that was Muhammad Hassan. I remember that guy. It's not like bringing back, Jamal, a 3-minute warning, and Zumaga, where, yeah, it's the same guy, but it's a totally different character. With him, he'd be the same character if they brought him back, and that's just not feasible for WWE to bring him back. This is from You Are Nothing to Me, I Am Everything to You. Do you like CM Punk's current moveset and style of wrestling with the WWE better than when it was what it was when he was with Ring of Honor in the Indies? It's not completely different now, but you can tell many of his moves, like he used to do the Devil Lock DDT and his Jackie Chan flip out of the corner, are not there anymore. And he has used his Pepsi Twist move a few times now, but it's nowhere near as credible as it once was. Also, even his Anaconda Vice that he used when he first debuted the WWE is no longer present. What do you feel about this? Finally, do you like him better as a heel or a face? I like CM Punk no matter what he is. I am so glad he's ECW champion. I think he's a phenomenal talent. I liked him as a babyface. I like him as a heel too. His moveset is limited in WWE because WWE's moveset is limited in general. If you watch some of his stuff in Ring of Honor, which I've had the opportunity to see finally, his feud with Raven, his feud with his teammate, his teaming up with Colt Cabana, he was phenomenal. He had so many moves. You talk about the Pepsi Twist, the Double Lock DDT, the Jackie Chan flip out of the corner. He had moves I've never seen before. He was great. And he does use a lot of that stuff now in his WWE repertoire, but not nearly the extent that he used in TNA, or even TNA, Ring of Honor, and the independent circuit. So it'll be very interesting to see, as he's ECW champion, how he will evolve and increase his moveset. So, but I like Punk, no matter what. Babyface, heel, whatever he is. He's great. I love Punk to death. This is from Enigma. What are your thoughts on Japanese pro wrestling? From what I've seen, I like it. I haven't seen too much of it. Again, I'm not a big wrestling tape buyer as far as like the independent circuit or Ring of Honor or, TNA. I like WWE DVDs just because I'm a WWE fan first and foremost. But what I've seen of Japanese wrestling, I like it. I like the fact that the fans have respect for it. I like the fact that the fans are very respectful and mindful of wrestlers. I like their style of wrestling. They're very, it's quite brutal, as a matter of fact. It's very reminiscent of ECW as far as their straight edge, smash mouth style. But I like it a lot. This is from Stan the Man. Do you at all miss the wrestling promotion that was on MTV, Wrestling Society X? Personally, I liked most of the matches that they had, and most of the talent they had. I like Teddy Hart, Human Tornado, Jack Evans, M-Dog 20, Matt Cross, and etc. I do miss WSX. I think it had a chance to be a success. I think they pushed it a little bit too fast, too far, too fast. And some of their gimmicks were kind of like, okay, I'm not understanding why the coffin's exploding, but anyway. But they had a lot of great talent. You mentioned Jack Evans, Human Tornado, Teddy Hart, M-Dog 20. You had Vampiro, who's still a great talent. Ricky Banderas, who was going to be Judas Messias in TNA very, very soon, if not already. You've got guys that like Sean Waltman, who was there. You got Fabian Kalin, who was the ring announcer guy. He's a great talent. Used to be in XPW under the name GQ Money. Lizzie Valentine and Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal's going to be in WWE soon. Jimmy Rave, I think, was part of WSX. I'm not sure. He's going to be in TNA. He already is in TNA, as a matter of fact. WSX had the chance to be a success. They just pushed it too fast, and it was way too gimmicky. Just way too gimmicky. This is from Havoc. With the new Hart Foundation coming in the near future, do you see either Bret Hart or Jim Neidhart possibly being managers for them? No. Bret Hart did his thing with WWE. He did his thing where he came in and was dug to the Hall of Fame. I think he's done with WWE for the foreseeable future, if not forever. Jim Neidhart, possibly. Jim Neidhart could be a very distinct possibility to manage the new Hart Foundation, but I think they're doing fine on their own, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Teddy and Harry and Natty are doing just fine by themselves. I think that they're doing great, and I think they don't really need a manager. They're doing just fine. Natty's a good manager by herself for the boys, and the boys can manage her during her matches. So I don't think a necessity is needed for, I don't think there's a need for another Hart Foundation member to be added to the mix. Jonesy, what do you think of AJ Styles at the minute in TNA? I personally think they're setting up an AJ versus Christian feud, as AJ is starting to get jealous of Christian, possibly. I think he needs to get out of there so he can help the X Division up and running again. Also, do you think Brock Lesnar would be a good addition to TNA when they go 2 hours? As far as AJ goes, yeah. I think he needs to be pulled out of this whole being Christian's little bitch thing. I mentioned this before on the show. And being put back in the X Division and help rejuvenate the X Division. I think after No Surrender, we may see AJ, after this last pay-per-view they had, maybe seeing AJ move back toward that role, hopefully. I'd like to see AJ be the X Division champion again. He's a great X Division champion. He's a great athlete in general. I think AJ has the talent to be a force to be reckoned with in TNA, but in the role he's in right now as being Christian's little bitch, I don't see him going anywhere. Brock Lesnar would be a great addition to TNA if they go 2 hours, but Brock Lesnar apparently is going to be part of UFC. I mentioned this earlier, so we'll have to see what happens with that. I think if I had my choice, I'd like to see Brock Lesnar in TNA just to see what he would do with Kurt Angle again. This is from Lord of Love. I was born in Mexico and my family moved here to America when I was 3, but I'm not a legal citizen, and my dream is to become a wrestler for the WWE or TNA. But I know they travel a lot. Since I wasn't born here, I don't have a passport. Can I still work for a wrestling company that travels a lot, or should I move to Mexico and wrestle there and wait to be noticed by an American company? Wow. Honestly, get your citizenship. If you want to be a wrestler really, really bad in this country, get your citizenship, take a citizenship test, and pass it with flying colors, and go to wrestling school. I mentioned this before about going to wrestling school, but the first thing you want to do is get your education done, your regular general education done with. Finish high school, finish college, and then go to wrestling school. And get yourself a good teacher that'll teach you the right ways of the business and the wrong ways of the business. And make sure you go to a credible school that'll teach you everything. Don't just go to some fly-by-night shoot operation that, will teach you nothing and leave you penniless. Because there are a lot of those out there. But good luck to you, man. Whatever happens, I hope, keep me posted. Let me know how you're doing with your passport stuff and your citizenship stuff. Just, let me know. This is from my buddy Eric Bishop from Sins of the Flesh cast. What do you think about WWE releasing Crime Time? Why is it that WWE just can't seem to do anything good with the tag team division? They just started the storyline with the Caden Murdoch thing, which looked to be promising, though I didn't really like the Crime Time idea at points. They were used horribly. This story looked like pretty good. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate the question, man. Yeah, Crime Time being released kind of threw me for a loop. Apparently they had some sort of incident in Indiana where they took a referee's belt without authorization and auctioned it off or even gave it away to the fans, I heard. That one surprised me. So did Eugene's release. Eugene's release surprised me as well, considering that he's, been through a lot with the company. He's been suspended already. He's been in trouble already. But I think that he was finally starting to, be back where he was. Those three releases really surprised me. Crime Time more so. Crime Time was getting a big push. They were going to be World Tag Team Champions maybe at Unforgiven. And now it's not going to happen for them at all, which is really unfortunate. I think Crime Time may or may not return to the indie circuit, but I think you'll see Eugene in TNA sooner rather than later. This is from James Below. If you can move one superstar in any of the 3 shows from WWE to another show to push them immediately into that brand's main event slot, who would you choose? CM Punk to Raw. Honest to God. Once he's done with the ECW Championship, though, then do it. Don't do it while he's ECW champion like you try to do with Lashley. Have him have a good run with the ECW Championship, and then once he drops it, move him to Raw, and have him be in a main event slot for the WWE title. I'm not saying have him win it right away, but have him be in that main event spot to wrestle the WWE Champion, whoever that may be. I think Punk would be a great addition to Raw's roster. He'd be a good addition to SmackDown's roster, too, and get a shot at the World Championship. That I could see happening more likely than the WWE title. This is from Alistair McDonald. What future do you see for The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels? How much longer can they stick around? Undertaker can stick around as long as he wants to. Undertaker is still in phenomenal shape for a guy his age. He's still wrestling like he used to. You notice he's limited his schedule more often than not. He's limited his appearances because he's getting older. But as long as he keeps the schedule he's keeping, he'll be just fine. He has the potential to go far. Shawn Michaels, once he gets his knee healthy, he'll be in the same position. He has the potential to go a long time in this business. Shawn Michaels has been around since 1984, I believe, overall, 1988 in WWE. So he has the potential to take it to the limit as far as his in-ring career goes. Shawn Michaels has a good few years left in him, as does The Undertaker. This is from Adam Pearson. The TNA Lockdown pay-per-view is the only one with a clearly defined gimmick, that being that every match is held in a steel cage. It is held in a steel cage. Would the same gimmick work with other match types, and if so, which ones would it work for? Why and why not others? I don't see a pay-per-view with that happening. Cage match is kind of a special thing where if you have every match in a cage, it's defined and it's clear. With a ladder match, you couldn't really do that. With a table match, it wouldn't work. The people wouldn't buy it. Maybe every match would be a hardcore match like it had in ECW. That would be interesting. Like Raven's Rules or whatever you want to call it in TNA. But I think the reason the cage match thing works is because the cage match is something special. The cage match, especially in TNA with 6 sides of steel, is a special deal. And I think that adding any other pay-per-views with that type of gimmick where it's going to be only ladder matches or only table matches or only this or only that would water down the gimmick. Alright, this is from DJ. I've been hearing rumors that The Undertaker will retire after WrestleMania 24. I was wondering who you would like to see him wrestle in his last match. I'd say Shawn Michaels. Why not? Have them be each other's retirement match. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. They had a great feud in 97. They've had great matches over the years. I personally like to see that match go one more time at WrestleMania. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Just have them just tear each other apart and go out with a bang. Just my personal opinion. Kane would be a good pick, of course. You've got guys like, Batista again, or John Cena, perhaps. John Cena for the WWE Championship. Ric Flair, if he comes back, that'd be a cool WrestleMania rematch. But I think the best choice would be Shawn Michaels for sure. Thank you very much to everybody that watched the show today. I appreciate it again. Check us out on myspace.com/Jeff Meacham, NoDQ.com, and the YouTube page at NoDQ&AV's username. Get some discussion going again. I like the discussion we had last time. Thank you very much to everybody sending questions. I've got one more page of questions for the next show, number 11, so we'll get to those next time. Thank you all very much, and this has been episode 10 of Talk Wrestling.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Renegade of Wrestling episode number 10. I am your host, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, here to bring you my thoughts on the week in professional wrestling. And what a week we had. Aside from the clusterfuck that was known as TNA wrestling, but then again, isn't every week a clusterfuck when it comes to TNA? Between Bischoff and Hogan and Hardy. Whoa, hey, I know what he's feeling. But anyways, you know, the freaking clusterfuck that is TNA wrestling. I mean, who is even the number one contender? Have they even figured it out yet? Or is freaking Hulk Hogan still freaking strung out on the pain medication they gave him in the hospital for his 500th back surgery? Seriously here. But onto some decent stuff. Now, WWE wasn't great last week, but it did have some high moments and some low moments that I'm going to address real quick as we are here on the road to WrestleMania, baby. This coming Sunday is going to be WrestleMania. Be on the lookout Thursday for Dads of Wrestling. Me and Jeff are going to give our thoughts on the Hall of Fame class. And me and Jeff are also going to be back on Saturday this week, special Saturday episode, with our WrestleMania predictions. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But first thing first, Michael Cole. Boo. What the fuck? Okay. I am not a Michael Cole fan. At all. Never have been. Occasionally he says something that I agree with, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. But dude, seriously? You are signing your death certificate coming out like Jim Ross. You already have enough heat on you, dude. You seriously don't need to get the cheap heat. The only thing that would have made that segment worse is if they had been in Oklahoma. Just saying. You know, Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, we got that match set for WrestleMania. That very well could be one of the matches of the night. Daniel Bryan, excuse me, that's his slave name, Bryan Danielson making his WrestleMania debut. Me, Jeff, my fiance, Jeff's fiance, we're all really excited to see Bryan mix it up at the show of shows. Finally, after all these years, getting his just dues. Maurice and Eve. Oh my God, like seriously? Here is where I agreed with Michael Cole. When Michael Cole stood up last week and got on his microphone and called that match garbage, I stood up from my couch and I applauded him. I'm like, seriously, this match is horrible. For the Divas champion to be wrestling the unbelievable Maurice and stinking the joint up. I mean, seriously, we don't have a Divas match for WrestleMania. Could you have at least given us a solid competitor for Eve? I mean, were Beth Phoenix, Melina, Gail Kim, and Natalya just too busy that night? Seriously, they haven't been on seen on TV for a while. Seriously, folks, Maurice. Like I said, folks, there were highs and there were lows. I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated at some of the stuff that's going on in WWE. WrestleMania is around the corner, and they're treating Raws like business as usual. Seriously, we're on the home stretch. These Raws should be, you know, a step above any other week. We had the tag titles on the line last week against Santino and Kozlov. Really? Really? You couldn't find any other tag teams on the entire WWE roster to give a shot to? Seriously? Were the Usos in an all-you-can-eat buffet? That they couldn't make it to the arena? Just throwing this out there. I mean, where were the Usos? I can't even think of any other freaking tag teams because WWE's freaking abandoned all the good ones. But seriously, when's the last time the Usos had a shot? Vince? You want to answer that question for me? Yeah, I didn't think so. At least we got to see Trish Stratus back in action this week, though. Her first match, really, leading up to WrestleMania. Get a little bit of that ring rust off her and John Morrison handicap style against Dolph Ziggler, LeCool, Cole, and Vicky Guerrero. What can I say? You know, Vicky Guerrero got the pinfall. Seriously, I gotta walk off camera for that one. That is just horrible. Vicky Guerrero getting the pinfall. on John Morrison, no less. It was supposed to be girls versus girls, guys versus guys. What did you just do to John Morrison? Seriously, like y'all just seriously cheapened him. Main event was a WrestleMania 22 rematch between Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. Now, if memory serves me correctly, and I got my wrestling historian here in the background here, he could chime in if he needs to. But if my history is correct, WrestleMania 22 featured a certain wrestler in the mix who actually went into the match as World Heavyweight Champion, and he wasn't in the rematch. He goes by the name of Kurt Angle. Let alone the fact that they were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Angle's hometown. Now, where I come from, that's a double slap in the face. Seriously. I know Kurt Angle's in TNA. I get that. He's under contract. He's in there with another company. But that's like a huge slap in the face for Kurt Angle. You're going to do a WrestleMania rematch, not even do the match completely right, and then you do it in the person who's not their hometown. The only thing, what I was waiting to see, and would have totally just fucked the Pittsburgh crowd over, I was waiting to hear Kurt's music come over the PA system, and the Patriot come marching out. Seriously, because keep in mind, wrestling fans, before that was Kurt Angle's music, it was the Patriots. The Patriot just kept it warm until Kurt debuted. Wow. And to top it all off, The Miz rewrote Mystery. They built up this huge presentation that The Miz, my boy, was going to rewrite Mystery. And his big presentation was the WWE Championship with the W turned upside down. Really, Miz? Really? I'm your boy and all. Couldn't you have at least got a little spinner medallion like the rated R one that had the old Miz TV logo on it? You know, looking like the old school MTV logo, which is where you got started. That would have been cool. You know, brand new belt, spinner belt. You could hook up the V, make that thing spin. It looked like the old MTV logo, but it said Miz TV. Just throwing that out there. To take the W and turn it upside down. And then the biggest fail, they exposed that John Cena was really in the arena, which we all knew. And then they let The Miz and A-Rye get ready to assault John Cena when he comes out. If I had written that segment, Vince, you might want to listen, Vince. You know, I'm not on your payroll. I probably never will be. But, you know, some of us fans actually got good ideas. You might want to check out, you know, some neurotic concepts if you got a moment there. But what I would have done is as soon as they pulled back the set to reveal that John Cena was sitting there in the arena, I would have had him come out through the crowd, creep up behind A-Rye and The Miz, so that as soon as The Miz turned around to A-Rye, right on the shoulders, attitude adjustment, drop him down. That would have made Cena look strong. That would have made Cena get a little one-up in this feud where he's been getting his ass handed to him week in and week out. That would have been good television. Not waiting for the set to be revealed, Cena take the microphone off, then come out the front way.
To the music.
To his music, no less. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wrestling Historian. To his music, no less. Seriously. The whole element of surprise got shot to shit. SmackDown wasn't much better. SmackDown wasn't much better. You had a WrestleMania 26 rematch, which, maybe it's just me, but it seems like they're saying that Rey Mysterio is the only person ever been to a WrestleMania. Because he was the only one that had WrestleMania rewind matches this week. Seriously. He fought Randy Orton on Raw, and then he fought CM Punk in a WrestleMania 26 rematch on SmackDown. What's going on here? I mean, could you guys not find any other people to have rematches with? We did get a new Intercontinental Champion, though, when Wade Barrett defeated Kofi Kingston. Now the Core has 3 titles, tag titles, and the IC title. The only one without gold is Big Zeke. I'm sorry, big man, but you ain't going to be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That would have been better. That would have been better left for Wade Barrett to go after. You may be the big man, you may be the animal, the enforcer of the group, but Arn Anderson was never world champion. Just saying. Should have been, never was. Somebody I do feel bad about, though, going into WrestleMania, is Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger is the epitome of epic fail going into WrestleMania, because last year he won Money in the Bank, cashed in his briefcase 2 days later to become World Heavyweight Champion, and this year he's in Michael Cole's corner. He's not even on the card. The All-American American in the corner of the biggest douchebag this side of Michael P.S. Hayes. Just throwing that out there. You know, this is just me saying. You know, be on the lookout on TNA Impact to see Crimson turn into another Big Papa Pump wannabe, just like they did with Petey Williams. Because, you know, that's how Scotty Steiner does all his tag team partners, you know. It's going to end up being Big Crimson Pump. What do you guys think? I've been rambling on a lot of stuff this week. I touched a whole lot of bases. Leave me comments, leave me feedback, let me know what you think about the stuff I've said. Because it is only my opinion after all. I'm only one man. Unless I've got Jeff standing next to me for Dads on Wrestling, then it's 2 man's opinions.
3, because I'm 2.
Like I said, be on the lookout for Dads on Wrestling twice this week. We're going to hit you Thursday with our thoughts on the Hall of Fame class. We're going to hit you again on Saturday with our WrestleMania predictions. Also, for all of you that want to see how important the ripping up of the Jeff Hardy picture was to where I've come from, I've been uploading some old episodes of a Hardy Conversation on YouTube with me under my former ego, Sean Hardy, and my former co-host, Chris Hardy. You want to check those out because you'll see how big a deal that was for me to rip that photo when you start watching some of those old episodes. Trying to get up to 300 subscribers before WrestleMania, me and Jeff. We can make this happen, people. He's got 18,000 on his own page. If some of y'all just come over to us for our joint show, boost up the numbers, we need 55 more subscribers by this Sunday.
God has spoken. Subscribe there, right? Okay, good.
We can do it, people. YouTube.com/user/Renegade of Wrestling. Until Thursday, when you'll see me on a brand new episode with Jeff, I am the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, and I'll see you next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from A Simple Man's Brand.
You know, it's been a while. Talk about a hectic, mental, draining, relentless, crazy, fun summer with a nice vacation, a live wrestling experience. But I think it's good to be back in the seat to once again share some simple wrestling insight and excite and hype. So why not? Especially since I probably plan on moving the next month. But this virtual background works too. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my simple YouTube channel. My name is Noah Foster, and I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. And I'm here tonight to just give you an ATW spotlight on this week in pro wrestling. What's to come tonight, what has happened this week, and what's to come. As this is being recorded 6:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, August the 14th. And of course, shout out to my ATW crew. And we will be back, folks, with an ATW view regarding All Out very, very soon. With that being said, why don't we get ahead and talk about what's ahead? So first off, I gotta say, as we ushered in the era of Rampage, it was an absolute amazing, incredible, electric atmosphere, and what a insane inaugural for a show. As we had 3 championship matches headlined by Pittsburgh's own Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, don't forget it, defending the AEW Women's World Championship with a broken wrist, might add, against the Red Velvet. And the opener, of course, was Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage with the Impact World Heavyweight Championship on the line. So let's go ahead and talk about what we saw last night, shall we? As we ushered in the era of Rampage, we witnessed history and an absolutely incredible electric atmosphere of true, pure professional wrestling fandom and enjoyment. As Kenny Omega and Christian Cage kicked off things, there was incredible back and forth action, near falls, including after a ridiculous spear and splash combinations where you thought Christian was going to win this match. Kenny Omega following up, though, of course, with V-Trigger, Tiger Driver. He could not hit the one-wing angel, though, but there was so much good counter wrestling here that you thought that literally either man could win this. It kept you on the edge of your seat, as it looked like Kenny Omega was in a desperate situation after countering a follow-up spear, just ramming a knee directly into Christian's face. The Young Bucks came down as Don Callis distracted the referee and tried to play difference maker, bringing an equalizer, steel chair. Unfortunately, Christian was able to capitalize on this and hit the kill switch to Omega on the chair, protecting the belt collector in defeat. As, ladies and gentlemen, Christian Cage made history and is now the new Impact World Heavyweight Champion, and has made official that he will now defend that title at Emergence against the winner of the number 1 contenders battle royale. For those that saw Impact Wrestling, you know who I'm talking about, the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers. I gotta say, this was an incredibly hot kickoff, and I love the fact that literally now it seems like we're really taking the belt collector thing to a different outlook, and just the elite storyline overall. As Kenny Omega has been draped in gold, representing 3 promotions for the longest time with 4 championship belts. Now he's down to 2. Probably not in the greatest mood considering what he's got to deal with tonight, as we'll talk about shortly. But I thought this was a really good opening match and an incredible moment for Christian. To think, one time he had the NWA World Championship back at TNA. Now he is here in 2021 as Impact World Champion. 10 years probably to the day that he left pretty much WWE as a champion. So I gotta say, this was a really good match. Congratulations to Christian Cage, and we'll see him now on Impact Wrestling this coming Thursday. Moving on from there, we had Rampage continue as the Redeemer and Guys with Champion Miro defended the TNT title against Fuego del Sol in what was definitely an incredibly hot crowd, of course, for Fuego, because he is over. But not only was the TNT title on the line here, it was a contract for Fuego to finally be All Elite. In 5 minutes, it seemed like he gave it his all, and with 3 tornado DDTs, getting the crowd behind him, thinking that he could actually do this. It was all for naught as he ate a press kick and angered the Redeemer, and it ended with game over and a contract ripped before him. Or so we thought, because sometimes it's the ones in defeat that are still victorious. As afterwards, we had Sammy Guevara and Tony Khan out for a moment as Tony Khan handed Sammy Guevara something. Sammy came in the ring, one of Fuego's best friends, and says, "You are now All Elite." So congratulations, of course, to the Demon Miro continuing to hold his divine gift from God up above, the TNT title, in a very fun, simply presented match. But Fuego, congrats on finally achieving what everybody believed you should be. He's all in and he's fully signed now. I hope it means brighter things from going forward, maybe some more wins too. But this was a really fun moment. What I liked about Rampage, it truly held up to what it was about. More action, less distraction. A couple backstage vignettes, including brief interviews about Red Velvet and Britt Baker coming up in the main event by Mark Henry. And Mark Henry, of course, going backstage, talking with Christian Cage, who feels that this is absolutely incredible. He did it for Impact. He felt like this was deserved. And he said Kenny Omega is probably his toughest opponent ever to date. And now he wonders if he can become the belt collector and beat Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship at All Out. Because, of course, he is number one contender. But anything could change between here and then, folks. We still got a few weeks. As we go into our main event, before that, we hype up also next week's episode of Rampage called The First Dance. That will emanate from the United Center in Chicago with more than triple the crowd on hand for Pittsburgh. Man, I can't wait to hear the atmosphere. As Darby Allin and Sting together up in the rafters, figuring about what's ahead next week as Darby Allin calls out the best in the world. Just saying, folks, wait and see. Then we move into our main event. Of course, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, coming into a hero's welcome beyond all belief that pop. Takes on Red Velvet, who came in pretty much into enemy territory, an atmosphere similar to ECW One Night Stand. And Red Velvet put up one hell of a fight. There was tough aggression and counter wrestling by both. Of course, Britt Baker, she came in with a hindered limb, and Red Velvet tried to exploit that, constantly working the arm and pulling off some ridiculous spinning kicks. As Rebel, not Reba, came into play multiple times here. She was ejected from ringside eventually, especially when she got involved during the picture-in-picture, tried to bring the title into play. And this almost allowed Red Velvet to get the win over Britt, who tried to lock in the lockjaw but couldn't because of the injured wrist, which caused Red Velvet with a roll-up to try and lock the lockjaw in herself, and almost did. By the way, earlier, beautiful moonsault. She has incredible agility. A couple good near falls too. It was all for naught though, as the resourceful Dr. Britt Baker reversed the position of the lockjaw that she usually does and used the opposite hand to get the win via tap out, as Dr. Britt Baker continues to be the AEW Women's World Champion, and AEW is DMD. As she went for some added insult to industry, but also a message, dropping Red Velvet with a ridiculous swinging net breaker and going for a curb stomp on the title. It was Chris Statlander who came into play, who I believe is almost number one. I think she's number two. And Chris and Britt have never faced each other in one-on-one action, as she came to Red Velvet's aid. But Britt Baker slowly alluded to, maybe I need to gain some backup. Well, boy, did she. Talk about a wild return, who's also now all elite, Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter with a brand new look came in to the doctor's aid and allowed her to take out not only Chris Statlander, but the Red Velvet. And we went off the air with Jamie and Britt standing together, side by side, tall. So it looks like now we might be getting some more women faction warfare coming soon to AEW. You might need to find some friends of your own, Velvet. I know you have a couple. And with that being said, I thought that this was a tremendous way to kick off Friday Night Pro Wrestling, all elite style. And I look forward to continuing the saga from here. If there's one thing I gotta say about Rampage, I think that the commentary was really good. Chris Jericho being the most energetic, Taz bringing in the technical, and of course, Excalibur being play-by-play. It almost feels like Mark Henry was better in the backstage role for / interviewer position. I just think 4 is too many on the commentary position, and Mark Henry maybe is better at the whole, insider type role. But overall, I thought this was a really incredible way to debut a new era in AEW. Friday nights are now ruled by Rampage. And folks, join the ride, feel the hype, get your surge of professional wrestling each Friday night. It was a hell of a good time. As we move on now to tonight, we have 2 incredible pro wrestling shows before us, as we have Triple Mania, let me get my Roman numerals right, 29, there we go. And it, of course, will be headlined with 2 incredible matches representing both Impact Wrestling and AEW, as Kenny Omega defends the AAA Mega Championship, again, the cleaner, never gets any rest, against La Sombra, Andrade El Idolo, in a dream match many have been waiting for the last 6 or 5 years, it seems. The thing is, when it comes to the belt collector and defending his titles, you honestly can't have him lose to somebody outside AEW because you have to make him protected at all costs because he is the AEW World Champion. But this is signed AEW talent. Losing to a talent within the company itself, even under different territory, I feel still protects the champion in defeat. And that's why I suddenly think that Andrade El Idolo, especially with Triple H trying to get things back up and running again, I think he's going to take this title from Kenny Omega. And I think we're going to strictly focus on Kenny Omega as the AEW World Champion going forward, protecting that at all costs, eventually to what I think is going to be the Hangman finally taking it off him. And that's all I got to say about that. This should be a really incredible match. For those that are wondering how you can watch it, there's going to be like certain Twitch streamers, I believe, that are going to try to show it. But pretty much anywhere outside of Mexico, it's going to be much more of a Google search for you to try and watch it. So try and watch it when you can, either tonight or on demand. I think it's going to be absolutely worth it. Which brings us to our other contest as the Virtuosa. Deonna Purrazzo will defend her Impact Knockouts Championship against Fabi Apache, who also will be defending her title. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is a title for title matchup. Oh, man. So let me go ahead and give you a little bit of background here to Fabi Apache for those that don't know Triple H. She has actually been involved in Impact Wrestling before during the Mexico tours, including a singles win over Alicia Edwards. And she was actually involved in the very first AEW All Out Women's Casino Battle Royale back in 2019. And they're bringing that back again this year at All Out. Almost makes me wonder if we might see her again and other faces too. But of course, Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa, who continues to hone her skills and build herself and her legacy, being the knockout and wrestler of the year last year, doing it all. First ever Iron Woman of Impact Wrestling. And now will be defending this title on NWA territory at NWA Empower against the legend Melina, and virtually has been absolutely unstoppable. She now looks to become a collector of her own to add another title to her repertoire. Lady Fabi Apache, apologies if I screwed up that name, folks. She is nobody to take lightly. She is old school, no nonsense. You best bring your best fight or she will break you. And I feel Deonna Purrazzo with the added training through Alicia Sabatelli, of course, Invicta Bantamweight champion. I feel that this is going to help Deonna Purrazzo ascend even further. And I think Deonna Purrazzo is going to win this. It would be extremely surprising to me if Fabi Apache actually wins the Knockouts title and comes to Impact Wrestling. And that would also mean that she would take Deonna's place at NWA Empower. In this open world of professional wrestling multiverse, where collaboration breeds competition among AEW, NJPW, NWA, GCW, with Nick Cage getting involved on AEW territory, and of course, the NWA, it seems like absolutely anything and any match is possible. And definition from Rampage last night with the Impact title changing hands back to a TNA original. I think both is going to be very stunning matches. I think this pay-per-view overall is going to be very interesting. And overall, I am looking forward to it. Which brings me, of course, to the main event for tonight, Saturday night, that I'm definitely looking forward to the most and can't wait to see. And that is, of course, the rebirth of the fans back live engaging right here in the good old United States of America for NJ Resurgence. Headlined, of course, by the United States Championship match and the Neverweight title being defended, and a grudge match being revisited over 5 years in the making. So let's go ahead and briefly talk about the card that's ahead, shall we? As of course, this will be representing the NJPW Strong brand, of course, the New Japan Pro Wrestling of USA's top brand right here in America as part of New Japan Pro Wrestling's global expansion. We have first, of course, have Alex Coughlin taking on Carl Fredericks. Alex Coughlin being the last young lion yet to graduate from Katsuyori Shibata's original class, but has constantly been out on a challenge match series to push himself as hard as ever, literally taking on everybody possible, including the walking weapon Josh Alexander. Now he takes on the Alpha Wolf, Carl Fredericks, and in their singles record, they are 3-0-1 in Fredericks' favor. With Alex Coughlin being the last one yet to graduate, can he finally get his first victory in what could be his biggest match to date against former student with him, Carl Fredericks? While Carl Fredericks has all the possible confidence in the world, I feel like right now he really wants to expand his moveset and his wardrobe. And honestly, a win here could finally maybe ditch him of the black trunks. So I'm going to say that Alex Coughlin here pulls out the victory and the upset. Moving on from there, we go into six-man tag team action. As Fred Rosser, Rocky Romero, and Willa Yuta, who's been heavily involved in AEW as part of the Best Friends, get well soon, Trent, will take on TJP, Clark Connors, and Red Narita in six-man action. As TJP, of course, was an original dojo member and has been heavily involved in New Japan Pro Wrestling across multiple platforms, including previous Super J Cup. And of course, we now have, of course, our Japanese young lions of, let me get the names right, Yuya Uemura, almost forgot, sorry, folks, and Yota Tsuji on excursion as well. If you wonder if one of them might show up and make a statement tonight, could very well be maybe from here. This is going to be a very dynamic six-man tag, and I feel like TJP is going to try to be the leader of his team, though Clark Connors is the captain, so maybe they're going to butt heads. And Rocky Romero, of course, feels going to lead Yuta and Fred Rosser. With that being said, Fred Rosser, I think, definitely is the X factor in this match because honestly, I feel like he's capable of anything. Wheeler Yuta, of course, being the independent wrestling world champion, I believe. This is a very diverse mix, and this match could go any person's way. But looking at the field, I'm actually going to go with, oh boy, this is a tricky one. Rocky Romero, of course, being the experienced veteran here. I'm going to go with Rocky Romero's team, as Rocky Romero, of course, has been literally on a path of redemption as he wants to claim NJPW gold once again. Ultimately, he wants the Junior Heavyweight Championship, but I feel he wants to accomplish major things here in Strong as well. Of course, his team falling out in the tag team turbulence as the Good Brothers took that. We'll talk more about that later. But that being said, I feel like here that Rocky Romero is going to lead his team to victory, which now leads me to a huge 10-man tag as we have Team Filthy, who just got a whole lot stronger with the addition of the West Coast Wrecking Crew, for those that watch NWW Strong, and yes, I do too. Tom Lawler, JR Kratos, and Tom Lawler, of course, still the strong openweight champion, first ever, still holding the gold. Well done. Jarrell Nelson, Royce Isaacs, and Danny Limelight, Team Philby, take on this dynamic duo team of Leo Rush, Brody King, Chris Dickinson. Of course, you know a couple of these members represent Violence Unlimited. Fred Yahi, and Yuya Uemura, who has currently been brought to excursion for NJPW Strong, NJPW USA. Of course, his fellow young lion, I believe, Yota Tsuji, I think is going to be involved in Rev Pro with Shota Umino. And unfortunately, folks, Shota Umino will not be here because of travel restrictions. With that being said, Leo Rush is definitely at the forefront of this team, as Leo Rush will be challenging Tom Lawler during the Fine Spirit Unleashed Tour for the Strong Openweight Championship, continuing to finish out his obligations before he retires to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And literally, we saw Kazuchika Okada send Uemura off to excursion. This is going to be a very interesting match. Uemura is going to be out to prove a point, and Leo Rush is going to be out here to try and garner momentum. This is one of those matches where you look at who's going to have more going into it to back themselves up confidently ahead of the title match. Those are the two things you need to look at here. With all these other combustible elements, though, this match could truly go either way, and we're going to see what sort of new attitude Uemura brings now to the LA USA scene. I think I have to go with, just on the unknowns to wait to be shown here alone, I'm going to go with Team Leo Rush for the win here to send a statement to Tom Lawler ahead of their NJPW Strong Openweight Championship match. And I feel that there's going to be a huge breakdown during and afterwards too, where Tom Lawler somehow is going to get the last word, but Leo Rush will be the one standing victorious, even if he is taken out. This is going to be a wild 10-man bout, folks. Get ready. We move on from there, go to a singles match. Juice Robinson takes on Hikuleo. And this is a bit of a surprise match right here, as it was kind of added like out of nowhere at the last moment. But of course, these two are no strangers to each other. Hikuleo, the young gun of Bullet Club, takes on the flamboyant one, Juice Robinson, who of course has been tag teaming with David Finlay as part of Finjuice. And basically right here, this just comes down to one thing. Hikuleo wanted competition. And with Juice, he never backs down from a fight. I sense this is going to be a very good test for Hikuleo, who of course has been a heavy dominant influence, both on NJPW Strong and more recently AEW Dark after a great AEW Dark match and challenging Lance Archer for the US title. I feel that Hikuleo is going to be out here to prove a point as he continues to try and grow and elevate himself, and we really wonder where GLD is. So I'm actually going to go with Hikuleo pulling out the win here. There's not much more to say about this match. Now we get to the actual meat and beans of the card as my Alexa goes off. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. This is the match I think that's going to be match of the night, because anyone who knows me as a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan, I love the fact that they weigh themselves heavily on fighting spirit, physical warfare, stronger will. Tomohiro Ishii, known as the Stone Pitbull, will take on Impact Wrestling's Moose. And this, guys, is not their first time encounter, as these two go all the way back to Ring of Honor in 2016, where Ishii got the win. When it comes to facing Tomohiro Ishii, you better clench your teeth, lock your jaw, and close your fist if you're going to take this guy out. Because while Moose says he's going to show everybody what pain feels like, Tomohiro Ishii thrives off pain. Stone Pitbull, former never openweight champion, multi-time, and currently 1/3 of the 6-man openweight champions. That being said, Moose is going to be out here to clearly prove a point, coming off a loss in the recent number one contenders battle royale, and basically in a blood feud, it seems, with Chris Sabin Impact Wrestling, where they are one-on-one. And it was incredible seeing Moose live at anniversary beat. No, he didn't beat Chris Sabin botch, but Chris Sabin got on a roll up, but he beat Chris Sabin with an inch of his life. This match is going to be definitely a true test for both these men, and whether or not this is a one-off for Tomohiro Ishii right here in the USA before he goes back to Japan, maybe to defend once again the 6-man titles. I am just really looking forward to seeing who can make the other one suffer more pain. But I don't bet against the Stone Pitbull ever in singles action. If you're going to beat Ishii, you're going to do it by dirty means. You're going to need an army. Evil, Jay White. And if you do claim a one-on-one victory on Ishii, then you know you made something of yourself and you know you belong in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And while I think Moose is an extraordinary athlete, I think Tomohiro Ishii is just that much better. And this is New Japan Pro Wrestling, not Impact Wrestling. So I got to go with the Stone Pitbull for the win. But I guarantee you, this will be probably match of the night. Which moves us to a surprising match here, as Jon Moxley and X take on the Good Brothers, Cara Anderson and Dargals, the current Impact World Tag Team Champions after a successful defense this past Wednesday on Dynamite against the Dark Order, Stu Grayson and Evil Uno. Stu Grayson, by the way, extraordinary athlete. He could definitely be a future challenger for the TNT title. I could see him involved in Impact Wrestling going after the X Division title. That's how damn good he is. That being said, the biggest question here, Jon Moxley says, bringing a drinking buddy. Who could that be? People have thought about, oh, maybe it's the Elite Hunter, Kazarian. Maybe it could be Sami Callihan. Maybe it could be somebody from Jon Moxley's past in New Japan Pro Wrestling that he actually worked with before. Maybe it could be somebody as wild as Satoshi Kojima or Yuji Nagata has both been involved in New Japan of America. Bottom line is this. This match would not be declared as big as it is unless Jon Moxley is bringing something that is, once again, Forbidden Door worthy. And that's why I believe that Jon Moxley will find a way to outsmart the Good Brothers. Dear God, don't let it be Toriano. And I feel that he will get the win. And honestly, based on what New Japan Pro Wrestling does, this could lead Jon Moxley and his partner to an Impact World Tag Team Championship opportunity. Just saying. But I think Jon Moxley's partner is going to win. I think it'd be wild if it was Eddie Kingston, but I don't think it's him. I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions down below, as we literally are 4 hours away from the show. Which leads us to one half of our double main event as Jay White defends the Never Openweight Championship against David Finlay. The record standing 10-2 in White's favor, but the last win went to David Finlay that eliminated Jay White from the New Japan Cup. And ever since then, Jay White promised that you will never defeat me again. And he made it his personal plan and vendetta to ensure that happens, including recruiting Blaze member of the Bullet Club, invading Impact Wrestling, Chris Bay. Congratulations. And of course, Chris Bay and Jay White have both carried out the agenda of taking out Finjuice, especially David Finlay. As of course, Jay White stood over his prone adversary after throwing a chair at his face and hitting a blade right to him on a chair face first. Since Jay White claimed the Never Openweight Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi, this Never Openweight title has taken on a whole new gleam and it seems identity in life. What was once a brash, rugged, really set through the paces and shortened careers type vendetta that people endured and tried to hold strong in the likes of Goto, Kenta, let me get my names right here, Shingo, Minoru Suzuki, Tomohiro Ishii, Toga Makabe, the list goes on and on. Jay White has turned this now into a long-term standing professional wrestling belt to go after, and it comes down to who so more is the better wrestler here, not the better brawler or hitter. You don't necessarily need a hard jaw or closed fist to claim the Neverweight Championship, as Hiroshi Tanahashi proved when he beat Shingo Takagi, and I still couldn't believe that happened. That being said, if David Finlay wins this here, I feel it derails anything that Jay White has going for him, and he will be more heavily involved here in New Japan America. So I kind of go with Jay White picking up the win here by any means necessary. It wouldn't surprise me if Chris Bay shows up here tonight and helps Jay White successfully defend the Neverweight Championship, being the newest member. Also, you wonder, was Jay White really here only for one recruit? Did he come alone? Is there more to Jay White being here in America than meets the eye besides David Finlay? After all, he did look at Kenny Omega. We had the face-to-face Slammiversary. I think Jay White versus Kenny Omega is imminent, but whether or not it's for gold or golds or something else, this Bullet Club Civil War is more realistic than ever, and I feel it is coming in the very short near future. Question is where, when, how, and with who. I'm just saying, we haven't seen GOD since they lost the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships to Dangerous Tekkers. Just stay tuned, folks. That's all I gotta say. And again, Finlay, he's looking really for his first real piece of singles gold in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I know he's gonna find his heart out, but right now, just based on story elements alone, I feel Jay White has to retain this here. It would be a huge upset, in my opinion, if David Finlay wins this title. Not counting him out, but I'm going with the Switchblade. Which brings us to the main event of the show. The IWGP United States Championship being defended by the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, who successfully claimed this title off Jon Moxley in a Texas death match. Good grief almighty, recently on Dynamite, and successfully defended against Young Gun Hikuleo, has now been challenged by Hiroshi Tanahashi, who once again comes back to America to wrestle under New Japan Pro Wrestling and looks to complete his Grand Slam, similar to Jay White, claiming this title. When I thought he couldn't claim the Never Openweight Championship, I was truly shocked that he was able to do that. And that match went for 40 minutes practically. When Kota Ibushi, who still is under health issues, could not successfully go after the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Shingo Takagi at Wrestle Grand Slam, the Ace had to step up, take the place, and it took Shingo to the absolute limit, literally channeling a Kamigoye in Kota Ibushi, nearly getting the win. Would I count Hiroshi Tanahashi out in this match? You never count out the Ace. This is the guy that literally took NJPW on his back and made it thrive and survive through its darkest times when you thought this company would go belly up, especially during and after Inokiism. You can never go against the Ace nor count out the Ace here. And I feel that this truly is going to be Lance Archer's biggest test to date as a wrestler and as a champion. When I look at the IWGP United States Champion, I look at strength, I look at durability, I look at longevity. As of course, Jon Moxley had this title for over a year. But that being said, there's also been previous matches with Archer and Tanahashi back when Archer was part of Suzuki-gun and Killer Elite Squad, and Lance Archer has yet to claim a singles victory over Hiroshi Tanahashi. So will the Ace come back in here tonight and close us out with a concert as the new IWGP United States Champion? Or will Lance finally get a prayer answered and successfully defeat Hiroshi Tanahashi and continue his wild ways as the IWGP United States Champion after fighting to get this title back for so damn long? I have to say, looking at the direction of NJPW America, I feel that Tanahashi can win this, but Lance needs to win this. Hiroshi Tanahashi has done absolutely everything, and there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be a participant again in this year's G1. He deserves it, but I feel that Lance Archer right now needs to be the guy to lead this resurgence, no pun intended, of the New Japan Pro Wrestling of America brand, and also keep on preserving this title across AEW and all comers. At this point, I'm just waiting for Togi Makabe to show up and try and challenge for the belt. Again, in this open, diverse world of professional wrestling, absolutely anything is possible. So with that being said, I feel Lance Archer is finally going to get that long-awaited victory over the Ace of New Japan and solidify himself truly deserving of the IWGP United States Champion. It's as simple as that. With that being said, that is your Saturday night preview, simple takes, and outlook ahead for August 14, 2021 with Triple Mania having so much more. But again, I'm not going to like I know everything about Triple Mania because I can only keep up with so much wrestling. It's as simple as that. But I definitely look forward to Resurgence. I'm going to be zooming with my HW crew, and maybe I'll bring a simple take too. We'll have to wait and see. With that being said, you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Follow me here on Twitter, on Instagram, and at Fox916 for all sort of wrestling ventures, outlooks, reviews, hype, energy, and previews in your day. And of course, discussions too. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below or on Twitter. And if you ever want to collab and just talk wrestling, anything wrestling, anyone wrestling, love to hear, let you know, because wrestling is constantly ever widely expanding. It's as simple as that. With that being said, other things to come up in this wild world of professional wrestling for the month of August. Stay tuned as I will be back with the NoDQ Galaxy predictions panels. We will go over SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver 36. It might be the last takeover as we know it. We also, of course, have a ton more coming up, including Impact Wrestling's next monthly Impact Plus special, Emergence. That will be headlined by Christian defending the Impact World Championship against Brian Myers. And we also have Jake Something taking on Josh Alexander for the X Division Championship. We, of course, also have another all-elite week ahead of us that starts Monday night with Elevation, Tuesday nights with Dark, the greatest 2 hours you can watch every week, and the wildest, most unpredictable time with AEW Dynamite. And of course, another wild edition of AEW Rampage with Triple the Crown on hand, where the wrestling world might change forever. The best in the world shows up in Chicago at Rampage's The First Dance. This and so much more coming up the month of August. And literally, this is next week, Friday. Folks, if you haven't looked at Rampage yet, highly encourage you to. And stay tuned for this one especially. And of course, at the end of the month, I hope to join the Jeff Meacham Network for either a watch along, a review, and maybe even free predictions too on both the NWA pay-per-views, the all women's one and NWA 73. And again, we will have so much collaboration with AEW and Impact Wrestling as well, with Empower especially. So stay tuned for more on that. And as always, folks, I like to close that represents ATW. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. There are just friends with their own opinions for this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, no matter where you stand or who you are, who you think you are, and what you know, support one another and respect each other. And just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. It's good to be back bringing you simple content, coverage, and discussions on all things wrestling. Whether or not I do this again live at some point, only time will tell. But I would love to hear from you. So please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the bell when this video goes live or record on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, help me keep growing the channel, and shout out to all 260 of us with me on this fun YouTuber craze Drake. It's not laying up anytime soon. And even with moving, I promise to bring more forward, simple content and coverage too. And maybe a wrestling shirt versus the blazer and pins too. We'll have to wait and see. Until then, enjoy your Saturday night. Take care. I appreciate you all. Coqueño, good evening. And have a good night. And if you can, enjoy both Triple Mania and NJ Resurgence. Boy, what a time to be a professional wrestling fan. Take care.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're watching this show. It's Stat Boy Rants episode 10. It's the milestone show.
Yay.
Renegade, that was disgusting. Jeff, throw some enthusiasm into it.
I don't have my sound machine to make more better sounds, so yay!
And that's a good thing, because I still don't understand. I'm going to throw out a question to my fans. The sounds make it more spontaneous. Don't you remember I said Robin Williams is one of my comedic influences? I said that. So I could be talking about something, the sound pops up, it throws my track off, it makes it more fun. That's why we do the sounds, okay? I encourage the sounds, just as long as they don't get a little too crazy. Anyway,
Dun, dun, dun.
You see? Just like that. I was going to say something, he stopped me, my train of thought is gone, and we continue on from there. Now, episode 10, milestone, yay. Hell in a Cell predictions. Of course, it is, what day is it today? Hell, even I don't know. But that doesn't matter.
It's October 1st, Mikey.
Thank you. October 1st, yes. Going into October 2nd. Meaning football tomorrow. No, just kidding though.
Yay, football.
Yay, football. Now, Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And these are my thoughts. All opinions on this show are Statboy approved.
I have a question.
Oh, hell.
Are the opinions of Dads on Wrestling Statboy approved?
If I can sit on your show and yell it out, yes, I will approve your opinions.
Yeah, I feel special.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Now, the first match on the card was made this past SmackDown. It's Sin Cara versus Sin Cara. The way they're going to tell them apart is, from what I'm reading, the original Sin Cara will be in blue. The fake or heel or evil Sin Cara will be in black. So they're going to have their match to determine once and for all who the true Sin Cara is. And just to go fight for the good fight, I'm going to say the blue Sin Cara is going to win this one. Don't be surprised if he botches. Maybe the black Sin Cara will get moves off better than the blue one. I don't know. And if this is the curtain jerker, you're going to have plenty of time for your nachos, barbecue, and ordering pizza. And beer. Don't forget the beer. Very important.
Go beer.
What kind of beer?
Bud.
Anything with Budweiser.
There you go.
Bud.
Bud.
Wise. Bud.
Right. Very good. Next up, for the who knows how many millionth time this storyline has got to die, Kelly and the Divas title. Please give the title to Beth. Kelly, congratulations. You made it 100 days as Diva Champion. Good for you. But I'm sick of it. In fact, I'm going to throw out something. I want to see Ashley come back and have her come all the way down the ring, kick both their asses, and steal the belt and run off just like CM Punk did. And she's going to hold the Divas title hostage until she gets a contract.
She's going to bring it to Wild. Fuck that nonsense.
There you go. She's going to bring it to Wild. Ashley, thanks a lot again. You rock. Backstory. Next episode.
God damn it.
But like I say, if Beth does not win, then I'm going to wait for Saddam Hussein to come back from the dead.
No, Harvey Whippleman, baby, two-time champ.
The jet fly by? Thank you, Top Gun.
Finally got on the show.
Yeah, there you
Awesome.
go, Top Gun, yeah.
Awesome.
But, I mean, if you think WWE stock is dropping, it should be buried halfway to China if this match goes Kelly's way. So please, let Beth win. And have her hold it till Rumble. Yes. Christian versus Sheamus. This is going to be your good old-fashioned brawl. I'm sick and tired of hearing this, one more match. Christian, you've had 4 matches in a row for the belt, and you lost each one. It should have died of the steel cage. I mean, I think a steel cage, once you're either cage or cell, that's it. You don't need another match. Will this be a number 1 contenders match? I haven't heard anything officially, but I would say yes. And, you know, put Sheamus back into the title hunt. You know, he needs to go after the title again. And the 2 Hell in a Cell matches... Huh? What was that? See? Sounds. Train of thought, you see. The first would be Mark Henry and Randy Orton. Mark and Cena have their belts 2 weeks respectively, since they both won on the same day. This is Mark's first Hell in a Cell. This is Randy's 4th. Now, if you want to pick a winner and you want to go with experience, you of course pick Randy. And if he wins, this will be his 7th World Heavyweight title reign. But if that happens, it's almost to the point where he's got the belt because he needs it, kind of like Cena does. Now, if I had to pick between Randy and Cena as champions, I want Randy all the way. You know, Cena not having the title is kind of like you're thirsty and you don't have a glass of water or something like. I don't know. You know, it's like, where's John Cena? Oh, there he is. Wait a minute, he doesn't have the title. Click. Oh, John Cena's going to be there. Does he have the championship? No. I'm not buying a ticket. I want John Cena with the title. Same kind of thing with Randy. You know, Randy's cool and all that. He looks great with the belt. Does he really need it? No. He'll still kick your ass, put you through a table, punt your head 50 yards, field goal. You know. Can Mark Henry hang in the cell? Don't know. Yeah. Is he going to go through the cell? Is he going to do something where he's so strong that, you know, the cell collapses maybe? That would be cool. To see something that big just kind of like when they implode Las Vegas casinos.
That would cause massive injury and death to the people at ringside, though.
If it fell outwards, yes, but what if it collapsed inwards?
Then there would be massive destruction and chaos at ringside.
Wow. Chaos at ringside.
Not the worker.
He should have a match in WWE though. That would be. I'd like to see that. I would like to see chaos in the WWE ring. Yes, and I said that.
Too much sidetrack.
I don't care. This is me. My brain is always sidetracked.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Wrong Joey!
Oh, that would have worked so much better if I'd be talking about Joey Ryan.
Wrong Joey.
Who's bringing Sleazy back. Good for him, too.
With his new stash and goatee, little whatever the
He's got a goatee now? I thought he got rid of that.
No, he's got that little thing right here. He's got this little thing right here.
The soul patch.
Soul patch, thank you.
So what, he looks like the devil?
I don't know. Ask his woman.
Chemical Ray?
Wow. God damn it.
Insert foot, put on ketchup, and there you go.
Seriously.
Okay, finally, the main event triple threat match is Cena, Punk, and Del Rio.
Yay.
This is Cena's second official Hell in a Cell. He did have one dark match, but I don't count it. And if you don't like it, put it in my comment box, because I'm expecting that. This is Punk's second. Of course, you know, he fought Taker, and that was a debacle from what I read. And Alberto's first. Can he hang in the cell, or will he just do the the heel tactic where he cowers in the corner, let Punk and Cena go at it, and then he comes in and puts the cross arm breaker. We don't know. I want Punk. Punk needs a honest and legitimate and long reign as champion. Then they can go back and they can also work the controversy angle. We can bring in John Laryngitis. You bring him in. I don't like you as champion, Punk. So remember, I'm the executive vice president of talent relations.
Is that his job? I did not know that.
Me neither.
Wow.
Honestly, I thought he was doing something in the back that he shouldn't be doing with other people, but that wouldn't. No. That
80s reference.
80s reference. So, like I say, give Punk the title, and make sure he keeps it. Heck, let him keep it till WrestleMania. Then we get 6 months of the cult of personality and pops everywhere we go. So, I said the original Sin Cara, Beth Phoenix. I'm going to go Sheamus. World Heavyweight title. I want to see Mark Henry hold the belt a little bit longer. And CM Punk. As far as what's going to happen after that, don't know. I did hear a rumor that somebody's coming back. I have no idea who. You can speculate all you want. Kevin Nash, Vince McMahon. I read somewhere that at an upcoming SmackDown, DX is advertised. Don't know the validity of that. I read somewhere that I think there's a 41-man Battle Royal coming up. I think that's going to be at a Super Show, and honestly, they need to stop the Super Shows because we've had a month straight. Like I said before, Raw and SmackDown, What else? That's pretty much it. There'll be a results show coming. If not, I'll do it later in the week. And Statboy is out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Master Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Revolution Go Home Week, Dynamite and Rampage watch parties. Mistress Audio dramatic readings featuring voice actors from Weymouth Youth Wrestling. Elimination Chamber retrospective. All WrestleMania themed retros by Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play series. WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode Let's Play series. All of A Simple Man's Brand Simply Predicting panels. Both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show. AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, every show week by week. The entirety of the NASCAR Thunder 2004 Let's Play series. Past and upcoming Jeff Meacham Network watch-along coverage. FTW Productions watch party for WrestleMania Go Home Raw. A Simple Take, WWE Simple Takes featuring Casa D18 Studios. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting. Episode 3 coming soon. Breaking news. ATW View Impromptu. WYW Intro and Immortal Stream. Wrestling with Idiocy Episode 7. Our favorite WrestleMania matches. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Don't blame NoDQ&A, blame yourselves. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome everyone to NoDQ&A number 10. I am the owner of NoDQ.com, Aaron Rift, and there's my cat in the background. You can check her crazy antics out at youtube.com/thecatdiaries. Watch her hiss at Justin Bieber. Watch her do all sorts of things. But right now we're going to get down to your questions about the world of professional wrestling. On the new 50 Shocking Moments DVD coming out, what, in your opinion, will be number 1? Well, I have no idea what the shocking moments are on the DVD. I have no idea. But in my opinion, the number 1 most shocking moment in the history of WWE would be when Eric Bischoff showed up on Raw and came out and hugged Vince McMahon. That, to me, was like a moment I would have never expected in a million years, would be for Vince McMahon to Eric Bischoff to not only be in the same arena, but to actually hug and embrace each other. Now, of course, I did not think that was the greatest business move because they could have done the whole invasion thing with Eric Bischoff leading the WCW Alliance or whatever, and just to have him come out and hug McMahon and not have some kind of feud, you know, I thought that was a little bit silly there, but what can you do? Nothing. In your opinion, who will Undertaker face at Mania next year? It will, in my opinion, it will either be Triple H, CM Punk, Chris Jericho, or Mick Foley. I think for sure it will be one of those 4 guys. DDP's debut in WWE had so much potential. He had the crowd out of their seats when he was reviewed as Undertaker's stalker. Why did he flop? Well, here's another question related to the whole invasion situation. You know, WWE made so many mistakes on that whole invasion thing. In my opinion, it was a complete mess. And the reason that DDP did not get over was because he got his ass kicked by Undertaker in every single encounter they had. You know, Vince McMahon, for some reason, did not want to put a WCW guy over a WWE guy, even though Vince McMahon owned the contract to these guys now. DDP's a WWE employee, so why does it matter if he beats Undertaker? But that's just the way Vince McMahon operates, and that whole invasion thing could have done so much more. It could have gone for a long period of time, maybe 2-3 years. Instead, it lasted 6 months. They got one good pay-per-view buy rate out of it, and that was it. So yeah, a lot of wasted potential there, unfortunately. Let's see here. Hey, what are your thoughts on the CM Punk Jeff Hardy rivalry back in 2009? I thought it was great, but Jeff didn't like that WWE brought out some close personal stuff into it, like his dog. Well, I thought it was an awesome storyline. The great storylines in wrestling often parallel real life. CM Punk's straight edge for real. Jeff Hardy's had his drug problems for real, and they made it into a storyline. Now, I know Jeff Hardy got upset after SummerSlam. CM Punk came out and took a shot at Jeff Hardy. I think Hardy got a little overreacted just a little bit. You need to be thick-skinned if you're going to be in the wrestling business. Guys are going to take shots at you personally. It's nothing personal. It's just business. That's something you really need to deal with. But yeah, it was an awesome storyline, and I was there at SummerSlam 09 at the Staples Center. Great match. The TLC match, CM Punk and Jeff Hardy, really good stuff right there. Who would you say is the funniest gimmick currently? I say R-Truth. How about you? Yeah, I agree with you. I am really entertained by R-Truth, especially this segment on Monday Night Raw this past week with R-Truth and The Miz. I just thought was, to steal a word from Miz, awesome. Those two guys had the crowd in their hands right there, in the palm of their hands. Both of them were just tremendous on the mic. And yeah, it was just one of the best segments I thought on Raw in a long time, probably since the first CM Punk promo. I just loved the whole R-Truth Miz thing, definitely. What are the odds of Undertaker skipping WrestleMania 28 since he's raising a family with McCool now and returning at WrestleMania 29 to face John Cena? I think it's unlikely. I think we will most likely see Undertaker at WrestleMania 28. The thing is, if he takes another year off, it's gonna take away some of the momentum, I think. The streak is hot. It's still fresh on everybody's minds. I think it's the best thing is to try to keep it going every year until Undertaker, says he's done and he's going to move on to other things. And, he's had a full year. He's going to have a full year by the time WrestleMania 28 comes along to heal up and be ready to do one more match at least. So that's what I think is going to happen. He'll be back by WrestleMania 28. And from where he goes after that point, who knows? Oh, there I go again. Should not do that. Do you think that Shawn might come back because Nash and Hunter are starting a feud? Do you want the Click back? I could see HBK making a cameo appearance, but that's about it. I think he'll come back, maybe do something with Nash and Hunter, but he's not going to be back as a regular performer, either in or out of the ring. If WWE is interested in building up their tag team competition, should they bring in beer money from TNA, since at this time they are a dominant force to be reckoned with? Absolutely. I've said it on the Text NoDQ&A. I really like Robert Roode a lot. I think he has the biggest upside of anybody on the TNA roster. Why they're not doing more with him, I have no idea. But at the very least, bring in Robert Roode. If you want to bring in both guys, that's great. Anything to help boost the tag division would be a big positive in my book. So yeah, definitely, I'd love to see Robert Roode and even James Storm too come to WWE and come in for the tag team division and maybe feud with Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne. But we'll see what happens. I don't think Beer Money's contracts are up anytime in the near future, but we'll see what happens in the next year or so. Maybe they'll end up on Raw. Who knows? All right, that about does it for NoDQ&A. Thanks for watching. You can submit a question, formspring.me/AaronRift. I'm trying to get through these. Right now I'm just around 600 in the inbox, so I still got a ways to go to catch up. I'm going to be playing catch up for a while here, it seems. And subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Let me know what you think about the show. Do you agree or disagree with my opinions? I'd love to hear from everybody. And that about does it. We'll see you next time for NoDQ&A on NoDQ.com.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Shall we begin?
Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
Hello everyone, this is the AA superstar, the cameraman Aaron Austin, the voice of reason, if you will. I'm here to give you episode numero uno of the Double Down with Double A, starring myself, Double A. Well, anyways, what I want to talk about is some of the stuff that I've seen recently in wrestling. One thing I want to talk about is the return of Big Daddy Cool, Diesel, aka Oz, aka whatever you want to call it as this week, aka Kevin Nash, whatever. He made his return on this past pay-per-view. He gave his State of the WWE whatever address, a shoot interview, if you will, talking about why he screwed over CM Punk. And you know, seeing Kevin Nash back on television, to me, you know, it was like a breath of fresh air. And at the same time, I don't know if anybody's picked this up, when he went backstage to talk to Triple H. Triple H was not in his office. Then you see Johnny Ass, sorry. You know, shouts out to Jeff Meacham for coming up with that one. Walk in the dressing room and pull him into his office, you know, where they could be more private, you know, to talk about stuff. You know, everybody knows Johnny Ace or Johnny Ass or John Laurinaitis or whatever you want to call his ass this week is the head of talent relations. All I can say is look to see Kevin Nash in more episodes of Raw and or SmackDown coming up. Another thing I want to talk about is this whole anonymous Raw GM. Ever since it came out, everybody's had their questions, everybody had their doubts. Who in the hell is it? You know, there were hints leading up to that it could have been The Rock. There was hints leading up to it being Stone Cold Steve Austin himself. There was hints leading up to it being Shawn Michaels. Yada 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 yada. For the longest time, I thought it was Michael Cole hiding behind his BlackBerry, hiding behind his computer or whatever, you know, and not wanting to fess up to the fact that yes, I am the Raw GM. However, personally, I think as of now that is Triple H himself. Because think about it. The anonymous Raw GM hasn't had a word to say ever since the H has been back on normal television. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but he hasn't had a word to say ever since then. And why would the anonymous GM have to come in when the real HMIC, Hitman in Charge, is coming out week after week after week telling us, the WWE Universe, what we want to see, telling us what's going to be on the main event. You know, we also had the return of not Triple H, but his wife, Stephanie K. McMahon, you know, or Levesque or Helmsley, whatever you want to call her, you know, show up. You know, she's back on regular TV. I give her big kudos for that. Not much else to talk about because, to me, in my eye, you know, everything else in wrestling has been kind of boring. However, this is something that, like I told you in my promos, I'm not gonna just talk about wrestling. I'm gonna talk about sports. I'm gonna talk about current affairs, and I'm gonna talk about shit that just flat out pisses me off. Yes, I'm gonna go off on a rant. You know, shouts out to Stat Boy. For those of you that don't know about me, I recently got into a new relationship, and one thing that's been bugging me lately, I mean throughout my entire life, is the whole race card, if you will. It's no big secret. I mean, I am not ashamed to admit it. My girlfriend is white, and as you can see on the camera, I'm a black man. Let me go on the record. Let me set the record straight. This is not a strike towards any nationality whatsoever. I was raised not to discriminate. I was raised to love everybody equally. I'm like one of these people, if I don't like you, it's because you're an ass. It's not because of the color of your skin, not because of your ethnicity, your religion, creed, color, or whatever. However, the thing that's been getting under my skin is, one, my girlfriend's mom, the same person that smiles in my face, you know, calls me on the phone when she's trying to get in touch with her, you know, all smiles, you know, everything's all polite. However, she's telling my girlfriend at the same time, I don't think you should date him because the color of his skin. I believe blacks should stay with blacks, whites should stay with whites, yada 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 yada. Okay. Number one, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. You're talking smack on me because I'm a black man dating your daughter that's white, and blacks should stay with blacks, whites should stay with whites. You know, I can go with that. However, ain't you the same woman that married a man, my girlfriend's dad, that's Iranian? I mean, that's, to me, that's like super hypocritical. I'm running out of words. I don't know what else to say about this one but one thing that just pisses me off is just racism as a whole. Like I stated before, if I don't like you or whatever, it's not because of the class of people that you come from, it's because of you. It's because you're an ass, you're a dick, you're a bitch, whatever. You know, lay off of it. I know I'm probably going to catch a lot of heat for this one. I don't care. One thing about me is, like I said, you know, for lack of a better term, I call what's black. What's black is black and what's white is white. Alright? And I've been kind of got lectured by, you know, kind of co-directors of this show, not to mention this, but I had to get off my chest. I had to say it. And that's about it for right now. Until next time, I'm Double A, and stay tuned to the Double Down with Double A.
Let's begin. And now, preview time.
So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Everyone, episode 10 or if you want to do, okay, 0, okay, that works too.
Well, the Roman numeral, you know, WrestleMania 10 had the X, so
but we're not talking about that one today.
Yeah, but it's
today.
episode 10.
Episode 10 of Dads on Wrestling.
But we're going to cover WrestleManias 1 through 9.
That's right. Mr. TW, Jeff Meacham,
the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams.
He did his own intro, I do his intro for him. It's a beautiful thing. Again, we did this for the Rumble as well. Your expertise, if you will, goes back to 1998. Yes. So WrestleManias 1 through 9 was 5 years before that. Yes. So I'm going to just briefly touch on my memories of WrestleMania, watching on the Coliseum Home Video.
Although I have seen them on Coliseum Home Video and DVD. I own the anthology that came out a few years ago with 1 through 21, 21 being the bonus hidden disc.
Which is why he rocks like that.
But, you know, so even though I may not have grown up in that era, I've seen the pay-per-views on DVD and video, and I can still throw my 2 cents in here and there, just not as educated an opinion as you, sir.
Right. Speaking of DVDs, if anybody wants to go back and record the WrestleMania 23 match between the originals and the New Breed for me and send it to me on DVD, you guys know where to send it. Because my whole WrestleMania 23 DVD does not work. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll figure that out. 1 through 9. JJ, you know, you want to talk about the spectacle on WrestleMania.
Yes, that's the one thing I think that's been lagging the last few years. You know, you go back to the first few WrestleManias, and you got Liberace, the Rockettes, Muhammad Ali, you know,
Billy Martin from the Yankees.
Yeah, Reba McEntire, I think, was at WrestleMania 7 or 8.
8 in Hoosier Dome, yes.
You know, in this day and age, you've got, you know, Donald Trump. You get like Jennifer Flowers. Justin Bieber is rumored to be seen in America the Beautiful this year. It's still a rumor. Still a rumor. So don't kill the messenger.
Yeah, please.
But you know,
kill the Bieber.
That just kind of shows where WrestleMania the spectacle is gone.
Which back in 1985, Vince was trying to get everybody and their mother involved. At the word side of the score, you had Dick Clark, you had Andy Warhol, you had Joe Pesci, you had Danny DeVito, Joe Piscopo.
You had a who's who of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And now it's
like
kind of like the surreal life of Hollywood.
Yeah, seriously. But WrestleManias 1 and 2 were focused around Hulk Hogan, of course, and Mr. T was in both of those, of course.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper's battles with Mr. T, the boxing match at WrestleMania 2, and the tag match at 1 with Hogan and T against Piper and Orndorff. Orndorff getting turned on and becoming a babyface. Leading into WrestleMania 2, he was a babyface, and then he turned on Hogan again, which led to the big event in Toronto before WrestleMania 3. And then you get to WrestleMania 3. My God.
Jesus Christ.
Hogan and Andre, Savage and Steamboat. The match we're going to watch is part of our 3-day clusterfuck. And yes, this is not appropriate for age under 12. The mixed tag match with the midgets and Hillbilly Jim and King Kong Bundy. Bundy squashes Little Beaver. Just craziness.
Get into the language thing real quick. Just because WWE is PG television doesn't mean we have to be.
We are rated R, sometimes X, okay? Seriously. Let's throw that out there right now. WrestleMania 4 is one of my favorite WrestleManias.
The tournament, right?
The tournament, yeah. The tournament. Jesse Ventura even said the first time in history, because, Jesse Ventura kind of outed WWE when he said the first time in the history of WWE there'd be a tournament. Didn't Buddy Rogers win a tournament? Jesse? Yeah. Even back then, Jesse was causing trouble.
Yeah. Even though technically not true, didn't Pat Patterson supposedly win a tournament to become the first Intercontinental champion?
What happened was
we all know he unified 2 titles, but they always say that it was a tournament.
Well, the story they gave with Pat is he was the North American champion. He won it from Ted DiBiase, and he won a tournament to become the South American championship. And he decided, unify.
Okay, so there technically was a tournament. Yeah, it just wasn't for an Intercontinental title. They just unified 2 belts.
Right. Well, he won the tournament. And then there actually was a tournament for the tag belts in 71. There was a tournament for that, which was won by Graham and Tyler. So that belt actually meant something for a minute. Now the tag belts mean...
Right.
Ford led to the ascension of Randy Savage, which led to the year-long slow burn of when is Randy going to turn? When is Randy finally going to crack his crock again and go ape shit and become a bad guy again? And it happened before WrestleMania 5. The Mega Powers exploded. Just awesome.
Yeah.
And then we get to 6. And
6 was kind of lackluster.
6 was kind of lackluster. There were a lot of matches. It was in the Sky Dome, which made for an awesome show. Don't get me wrong.
I remember Steve Allen playing piano with the Bolsheviks. Like, that's one of the few things that stands out in my head about that thing.
Yeah,
because my dad was a huge Steve Allen fan. So when we saw WrestleMania 6 for the first time and we saw him playing the piano with the Bolsheviks, we were like, dude, really? And then hindsight 2020, this dude turns out to be a tool when it comes to wrestling, because he's freaking, bashing the WWE for their sex and their violence. It's like, dude, you were at WrestleMania 6. You narrated the unreal story of professional wrestling. And that's 2 pretty good paychecks, I'm sure. And you turn your back on something that paid you so well when you were
just because
struggling.
L. Brent Bozell, the third brother's name, gives you a fatter check to represent the PTC, dude. You're a sellout, and I'm glad you're dead. Anyway, I don't care. That's brutal.
I'm sorry, dude. I don't wish death on nobody.
I don't wish death on nobody, but since he's gone, whatever.
Sorry, Pop, if you saw this.
I know. Sorry. Sorry, Mr. Williams. My bad. WrestleMania 6, of course, the Ultimate Challenge. Hogan and Warrior. Warrior's one of 3 shining moments in his entire career.
Yeah, seriously. Warrior was blown up within 20 seconds of the match, and Hogan, to his credit, carried Warrior to a 20-minute match. And that's saying something for Hogan, because Hogan can't wrestle his way out of a wet paper bag with a chainsaw and a blowtorch.
Right. And I mean, granted, I'm the biggest Hulkamaniac in the world, but yes, there's no doubt about that. Warrior's moment at there led to WrestleMania 7. Him and Savage. Again, Savage carried Warrior to a great match. Warrior
Slaughter Hogan.
Slaughter Hogan, which was my first WrestleMania. We're watching. Hogan comes out, Slaughter comes out. The cable cuts.
Oh, that's fail.
We're calling Palmdale because we're up at my aunt's
Palmdale.
Just fail, dude. We were on the. I had to. This is
I
back
should have
when,
told your cable company that the Cobra Commander is going to come for you.
right? This was back when Fred Rogan still covered wrestling.
Damn.
So Fred Rogan on Channel 4 at 11 o'clock told me that Hulk won the title back.
Total side note, didn't Fred Rogan in his younger days kind of look like Bob Saget?
You know?
Who kind of played a sports announcer on Full House. So, you know,
It all ties in together.
throwing that out there. Completely random.
Circle
Completely
of
random.
life.
Forgive me, fans of the show, but throwing that
Fans
out.
of which show? Full House or this one? Yes.
Ours.
Yeah, okay. God damn. Oh, Lord. WrestleMania 7 7 was, of course, the last time we saw the Rockers at WrestleMania.
Yes, yes.
Because the next year,
Sean broke
curtain
out as a
jerker,
single.
but you know what's really sad? I put up that poll about Michaels and his WrestleMania matches, which one we wanted to watch.
Right.
And,
Which
you know,
I promoted the
which
shit
you
out
promoted
of.
the shit out of. We both did. No love for the Michael Santana match. None.
I don't think.
Zilch.
I'm wondering if the modern day fan, you know, the C Nation, if you will, even knows who El Matador is without writing Tito Santana next to it.
Which is why I wrote Tito Santana, because
you know,
nobody knows who that is. And
Arriba!
It's like Hall of Famer, baby.
That's right.
We'll talk about the Hall of Fame later on in the weeks. And of course 9. Get back to 8.
Yeah, go back to 8.
Hogan and Justice.
Whatever.
Anyway, the real main event was in the middle of the fucking card.
Sid's shining moment is jumping off of a top rope and breaking his leg. That's his glorious moment in wrestling.
Was that because his eternal blood was so shiny? Is that why? Something like that. Anyway, and then you had the main event, the real main event for the title in the middle of the friggin' card.
Right.
Because God forbid Hogan, has to follow a title match. Oh no! We have to make sure there's separation.
Yeah.
Savage Flair was awesome.
Yes.
Granted, it was practice. Granted, Flair said in his book that it was rehearsed over and over again. But you know what? It came off masterfully. Liz did her part. The young Shane McMahon did his part as an agent. Just all around, just very well produced, very well done.
Definitely.
So there was that. There was Hogan Justice, which was a clusterfuck, and Papa Shango and the Warrior came out at the end. And then you had
talk about failed gimmicks.
Papa, Godfather, baby. Pretty much that's it. And Reba doing America the Beautiful, and Ray Combs doing the 8-man tag intro, but right before he hung himself in his hotel room.
He probably did as a result of doing that failed WrestleMania. It's like, dude.
Well, wouldn't you? I mean, you had the Nasty Boys in the ring with you, the Mountie in the ring with you, you had Virgil, you had, Nails was in the ring, I think, at one point during that match. I don't even remember. It was ridiculous. No. Nails broke Virgil's nose.
Yeah.
Or Sid did, or whatever. I don't even know. Then you had 9, which was a former friend of mine's first WrestleMania. He went to Las Vegas, and there's a picture. You can kind of see him in the picture of the crowd if you look carefully enough.
It's like playing a game of Where's Waldo.
Yeah, exactly. But 9 was awesome.
9 had so much going for it, and then there were a couple of fails.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the debut of Jim Ross.
Which Jim Ross in a toga is just hysterical.
Yeah. Completely hysterical, because you don't think of a fat man from Oklahoma in a toga.
And then you had Bobby riding out backwards, which made the announce team completely that night. Which,
Undertaker coming out with the vulture, the raven.
over his shoulder. That was awesome. And then Giant Gonzalez beats him, and then Undertaker wins by disqualification. Undertaker comes back and still whoops that ass, which led to SummerSlam later that year.
Giant Gonzalez.
Another failed gimmick. Rest in peace, Jorge, but no.
And then you had Hulk Hogan pull his diva trip. He demands one more title run before he leaves. So even though Yokozuna gets his opportunity to shine by beating Brett, oh no, Hulk's got to come in and in like 5 seconds beat Yokozuna for the strap.
Which is funny because even in that match with Brett, Brett has said that Yoko was like carried that whole way through. The match at 10, Yoko did better despite weighing more. We'll talk about 10 next show.
Next episode.
But Yoko did better in that than he did at 9. That's what Brett says. And then, of course,
well,
Hogan pulls a little bit.
Yoko was a little bit green by 9, wasn't he? I mean, he wasn't in the pro business for too long by the time 9 came along.
True, that's
by
very
the time
true.
10 came along, he had a whole other year of experience.
But you had, Shawn Michaels at the Tonka at 9. You had Bob Backlund and Razor at 9. You had the Mega Maniacs and Money Inc., which actually turned out really well considering who was involved. I mean, you had Beefcake and Hogan on one side, and 2 great wrestlers, DiBiase and Shyster on the other side. And then Jimmy Hart running around like a crazy fool, which Jimmy Hart is a crazy fool. He's a friend of mine. He
Love
is
you, Jimmy.
Nuts. Yeah, Jimmy, you nuts. But anyway, all right.
Jimmy, you fail for hosting WrestleLicious. That's all I'm going to say.
No, Jimmy. That's a bad Jimmy. No.
Easy boy.
I know. Sorry. Lizzie Valentine as a singer, really? Come on. Yeah. Nikki New York Knockout as a gangster, really?
Hey.
She's
She is
hot.
from New York.
She's hot.
She's got the mafia thing going for her.
And she does look hot. Don't get me wrong, but no.
Yeah.
No. All right.
That's probably the only one I can agree with them on. Is New York Knockout is a gangster, dude. I'm sorry. She's a G.
God.
It'd be better than Lucky O'Shea's a gangster.
This is
Throw
true.
that out there.
This is
love
very
you,
true.
Lucky.
We love you. Love you, sis. Oh my God.
But her's a G, really?
Yeah, no. Her as a heel is gonna work out better. Hopefully.
Next, they're gonna have Thunder Kitty coming out in a do-rag.
Okay, I'm off. That's it.
Pants sagging down. I had to go there with you on that one, Jeff. Anyways,
Staying
that was
shorts
our
and,
that was our look back at WrestleManias 1 through 9. Make sure you tune in for episode 11 when we tackle 10 through 18. I'm the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams.
I'm
That's
Mr.
Mr. TW Jeff Meacham. We'll see you next time.